greatest upset in American political history. If we don't win, if we fall short, we'll build a foundation, and I'm a young guy who's planning to run for many years to come for President of the United States, and you may yet see me in the White House, just like my hero Ronald Reagan. Took him 4 terms to the point he decided to run for president, to the point he became president, but eventually, after 16 years, he made it to the White House. And that's what we're doing this year. We hope to win. We want to pull an upset, but we're certainly, at the very worst-case scenario, building a foundation for future victories so that no one's ever going to laugh again at this third party. We are a party that is going to win at one of these days after we've built credibility. It may be this year, but it may be 2012, it may be 2016, it may be 2020. But I'm promising you, we're going to elect a libertarian to the White House.
Well, in addition to winning the election, it appears that one of your goals is to establish a permanent third party. And by permanent third party, I mean a party that does not have to go through these quadrennial ballot access issues. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. If Wayne Root and Bob Barr get more than 5% of the vote, in most states that qualifies you for automatic ballot access. So 4 years from now, we won't be having to petition to get on the ballot. We will just be on the ballot. We won't have to waste our money to pay petitioners to walk around and get people's signatures and try and get on the ballot. We'll just automatically be on the ballot. We can use that money to advertise, to promote, to get out the vote. All the things normal parties like Republicans and Democrats, who kind of dominate the system are able to do. That's what we're aiming to do, is build that foundation and build credibility. And I think we've got a long way to get there.
And that, in turn, would also give you access to the presidential debates then as well, correct?
Well, you need to get 15% in the polls leading up to the debates, the national polls leading up to the debates. But as I said, we're already 6 to 8, and we've got 10 double digits in some states, and it's early. It's not even August yet. So I feel pretty good about our odds for getting in those national debates.
Historically, North Dakota has a rich history of embracing third parties. The Nonpartisan League at one time was a third party here, and the Independent Voters League. One could go on at length and name some of the third parties that had a significant influence in our history here in North Dakota. Yet, at a national level, third parties have significantly often affected the outcomes of an election, but have failed to elect a president or vice president. Will it be different in 2008, and if so, why?
Well, let me tell you a little bit about my history. I come from New York, born and raised there. I told you I started my political career in '64 at the age of 3, handing out literature for Barry Goldwater. My parents were very remarkable people. My dad was a butcher, but a blue-collar butcher, but he was also a guy who answered an ad in the newspaper to found the New York State Conservative Party, a third party. And they went from losing every election and being laughed at, being a total laughingstock with no chance to win, no money, just like you're saying most third parties, no money to compete with the Republicans and Democrats, no publicity, no media. And eventually in 1971 they changed all that. They elected James Buckley, if you remember that name, United States Senator, William Buckley's brother. So, you're talking about one of the great upsets in American political history, and my parents were there for it. I was there for it. I was handing out Buckley's literature at train stations back in 1971 with Conservative Party backing. So I've been there, and I've seen third parties win elections against all odds, with the media saying they have zero chance, actually win the election. So I think with that kind of a background, I believe me and Bob Barr have a great chance to lead this party to victory.
What are the ingredients of a successful third-party challenge? Is it a convergence of events? Is it the message, or is it the messenger? In your view, what's the prescription for victory for a successful third party?
Well, listen, the message is always central. You've got to have a great message. But as I told you with that Goldwater-Reagan story, you got to have a great messenger to translate that message as well. So it's 50-50. You've got to have a great message to start with. I think libertarians have a great message. I think I've already established that I think Bob and I are high profile. We're good communicators. Now let's talk about what it is we're communicating. The central theme of my entire life is to tell the people listening right now, this is what I stand for. Open your wallet, look inside, vote for me, and I promise to stay the hell out of there. That's the central theme of my life, is that government has no right to overreach for your money that you worked so hard for. Your money is your property. Your income is your property. You are guaranteed to keep your property in the United States Constitution. It belongs to you. It does not belong to the government. Yet we violate the Constitution every day in this country. I think I'm a very unique politician with a lot to offer the average person listening right now anywhere in the country, but especially in North Dakota. I'm a small businessman. I'm a homeschool dad. My wife and I homeschool our 4 children. I'm a citizen legislator, just like the Founding Fathers envisioned. I run my business and I run my family at the same time I run for Vice President of the United States. I am the anti-politician. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lobbyist. God, I'm very happy I'm not a lawyer because I can't stand them. I've never set foot in Washington, D.C., never worked for government, never collected a check from government, never done business with government, and I'm proud to be from a western state like Nevada, which has no state income taxes, no business taxes, no inheritance taxes, and among the lowest property taxes in the nation, and lots of freedom. And there's no coincidence why those two go together. So I'd like to make the entire United States a Nevada. We represent what North Dakota represents, a Mountain West kind of attitude. Personal responsibility, individual rights, rugged individualism, low taxes, and get government out of my life. And if you like what I have to say, then you should be voting for Wayne Root and Bob Barr.
Mr. Root, one of the time-tested questions of political campaigns is, what's this election about? Could you tell us in your mind what's at stake here?
Oh, the stake of the future of the United States of America. We're bankrupt. Does anybody understand we're bankrupt? And I'm not a pacifist. I've never been a pacifist. I'm proud of the United States military. Sometimes you've got to fight a war. Freedom isn't free. So you're not speaking to a pacifist, and yet I stare at the wars we're fighting now, the war in Iraq, and even how long we've stayed in Afghanistan, and I just see us spending trillions of dollars wasting our financial future, gallivanting around the world trying to nation build, trying to stuff democracy down people's throats who don't want it, who don't appreciate us, who don't care that our boys and girls are dying to defend their right to be free. The whole thing really is a disaster. It's a crisis of epic proportions. I think we're wasting trillions on the defense budget, on foreign aid for people that hate us and laugh at us and mock us, on military bases around the world for rich countries like Germany and South Korea and Japan that could spend their own billions of dollars on national defense, but they rely on us to spend billions, and then that frees up billions for them that they don't have to use on national defense. They use it to prop up their own electronics industries and car industries and toy industries, and then they compete with us and they beat us at our own economic game because we're spending all that money on defense for them. So, what I see is the future of America being bankrupted by illegal immigration, by rampaging health care. Now, you've got candidates that want the government to take over health care. Ladies and gentlemen, the government isn't capable of taking care of anyone or anything, let alone the health of every person in this country. Basically, all we've got out there is Tweedledee and Tweedledum, big and bigger, dumb and dumber. McCain and Obama both want bigger government. They want government to expand, so it's an excuse to make government bigger and take over more control of our lives and raise our electric bills and raise our energy bills and put millions of people out of work. And McCain believes in it and Obama believes in it. Bob Barr and Wayne Root don't. We believe the free market's the answer. So to answer your question, there's only one issue. It's the economy, stupid, as James Carville used to say. It's the economy, the economy, the economy. And there's only one group that wants to cut your taxes and dramatically cut government and get the IRS out of our lives, and that's the Libertarian Party, Bob Barr and Wayne Root.
What will the Libertarian Party specifically offer the people of North Dakota?
Well, I'll tell you what. We offer you the truth. Your children or your grandchildren are going to be bankrupt. We can't afford Social Security and Medicare. Do you realize the trillions of dollars in unfunded liabilities for Social Security and Medicare? Do you realize the trillions of dollars collectively in this country for unfunded pension liabilities of federal employees and state employees? We have so many people working for government, and they're all promised 80%, 90% of their salary in that final year they're working for government before they retire for the rest of their lives, and pensions for the rest of their lives, and health care for the rest of their lives. How can we afford it, ladies and gentlemen? We can't. And by the way, with us in a terrible economy right now, an economic calamity that may be the worst since the Great Depression, how can you justify the fact that a small businessman like me and all my friends who are in small business, we're all struggling, we're all firing employees or cutting back on employees and cutting back on budgets, cutting back on expenses, just trying to survive, and meanwhile government just keeps on hiring new employers. new employees. Governments, state and federal governments, they have no problem just hiring in the middle of a recession, adding new employees, making the budgets bigger,